Heidi's back too. Heidi, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, welcome back. Hope everybody had good holidays and got some good stuff. But does anybody have any questions before we get going again?
Has Ryan been caught up?
You had to use a quick gist.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a quick rundown. If anybody had any questions, I'd go over them. But so when you were here last, Ryan, you guys were still in the cave, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So basically, what happened is you guys went into the next tunnel. You managed to find all the villagers. And in doing so, there was one unconscious person among them. You guys revived them, and then that is our extra player, Maddie. He's one of my cousins. Maddie, the other guy here is Ryan. He's a guy that I work with.
Hello.
So,
Hello.
Maddie is Ravo. He's a Shatter Kai. And I don't know if you guys have really done a whole lot of introduction on your characters overall, but whatever you guys feel like discussing, you can. But anyway, so you found the villagers, and then you managed to get everybody out. You did get attacked by a black sludge, or black pudding, sludge-like creature down another tunnel. But everybody made it out okay. You got back to the village. Everybody was working on rebuilding the village, and you talked to what was his name? It was the innkeeper. His name is Morak. And so Morak, to thank you guys, I think he gave everybody, was it 50 gold? I don't know if anybody...
right.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, so that's what you can update your gold to, an extra plus 50. And then he basically gave you 3 options for a quest. They had 2 parties that they could send out. And a bunch of the villagers obviously were killed in the giants' attacks where they were dropping all the rocks. And so the quest was to go to either Bryn Shander, which is way up north, Golden Fields, which is relatively close to the north, and then Tribor, which is kind of the middle point between the two. He wanted you to go to one of those towns and deliver the news of the death of one of the villagers to various people, whether it be family or ex-wife or son and stuff like that. So in choosing, you guys decided to go to Tribor, which was the middle one. It is fairly far north, but the quest as given to you was to go find a man's ex-wife. So the man is Darthag Ulgar. He was eaten by giant rats in the cave. He had an ex-wife who ran a trading post in Tribor. And so her name is Alaestra Ulgar, Alaestra. And so basically he asked you guys to deliver the news of his passing. So you guys agreed, and you left the village, and as soon as you walked out of the village, you happened to look up in the sky, and about 1,000 feet up or so was a gigantic castle. Basically like a single turret castle, about, best you could tell, was about 200 feet tall, and it's got a giant wizard hat on it. That's why in the map that you're in, you can see a giant wizard hat on top of the tower that you're in. And a very long staircase descended down. You guys all decided to go up it, and then when you got to the top, you found that you could walk on the clouds with no issues. It was actually a relatively flat and hard surface. You got to the door, and looked inside, and from about the middle of the tower, there was a ring of stone. It looked like a second level, and there was kind of a hole in the middle, and then a cloud giant kind of floated his way down and greeted you at the door. And he mentioned to you guys his name is Zephyros, and that's kind of where we left off. So, does anybody have any questions on any of that? Anything you need to clarify?
I'm good.
All right.
I think we're good.
Okay, so Zephyros comes down and sees you all there. He says, "Greetings, little ones. May I have your names?"
You can call me Wabu.
My name is Ravo.
I am Owen Hammerhand.
And my name is Lo.
Macmillian McTavish.
You
Excellent.
may call me Gilda.
Excellent. You are indeed the group I have been told. Give me one moment. And he walks back inside and kind of floats back up to the second floor. And you did notice up there, there is a large orb, which kind of sits, glows a little bit. And he goes up to the orb, kind of puts his hands on both sides. And then, you're not sure what he does exactly, but you just kind of feel a slight bump. And then the castle starts to move. And he comes back down and says, what is your destination? I should have asked before, but sometimes I forget things.
I think Tribor will do.
Excellent. Somehow, I think I knew that, and that's where we're headed. It is about an 11.5-day travel, so we have plenty of time. I'm
By
sure
air?
by air. You look down, and obviously you're very high up, but if you look real close, you can see you're moving slower than walking pace. But it's a straight shot, so it's going to be relatively easy for you guys, at least. You don't have to do any walking or forest traveling or up and down hills. So Zephyros, says to you, well, we might as well get acquainted. Is there anything you guys would like to ask?
I forgot. How did we end up here?
There was a.
And who are you?
Are you asking as a person, or is your character asking?
As a person.
Oh,
As a character.
so for you, Lowell, the castle. You didn't notice it until you walked out of Nightstone, but the castle was there in the sky, and a large staircase spiraled down out of the castle, and you guys climbed up the staircase.
I know you said it like 5 minutes ago, but I had already forgotten.
Yep, that's all right. And for you, Zephyros, or Mac, Zephyros is like, well, I have been floating around for a while, and I have contacted some other planes. Sometimes when I come back, I forget where I am, but I found myself here. I managed to glean the names of some of you little folk that I was told would be very useful, and so I found myself here. I'm glad you've all come up, and I have indeed found the correct group.
You were expecting us.
In a manner of speaking, yes.
Each of us specifically.
By name, yes. I was told. Each one of you individually. It's kind of interesting, actually. I don't know if you've ever contacted another plane, but sometimes you glean some things you might not think you would need to know.
What do we need to know?
Well, I suppose probably the thing I ought to tell you is what's actually going on in the world. As you can tell, and he kind of gestures back towards where you just came from down to Nightstone, there have been some giant attacks recently. I myself am a cloud giant, and there are several other types of giants. Namely, there are stone giants, hill giants, fire giants, and I think there's more, but I forget. There are several types. But we have a hierarchy in giant society. And that hierarchy has normally been kept in balance by what we call the ordning. But the ordning is now being broken. And we're not really sure how or why, but when the ordning is broken, that usually constitutes the restructuring of giant society. Now, we as cloud giants are very well thought of. The storm giants typically have been seen as the most powerful of giants and have ruled from their thrones for, well, I don't even remember how long it's been. It's been a very long time. But typically they are very fair when it comes to their rules. But now, some of the lower ranks, the hill giants and stone giants and fire giants, are looking to upset the order, and they want to restructure our society. Namely, they would like to take over and rule giant society themselves. However, we don't necessarily want that to happen, as some of them are less than intelligent when it comes to making ruling decisions. So that's kind of what's happening in the world at the moment. And while I cannot directly help you necessarily, I can assist you in getting to where you need to go. And I think that is the best that I can do in order to help alleviate this situation.
I'm confused.
About
Right.
what?
What are we doing?
Well, I don't actually know. Fixing the problem, I suppose.
What typically causes a break in the ordering?
No one knows. Our, as you would call it, our god, Anam Allfather, has been around longer than any of us, and we did have some major battles in ages past, and from the outcome of those battles, our structure was created, and it has been like that ever since. The last time an ordning was broken, I believe, was, by your reckoning, about 15,000 years ago. And after that, we decided to leave the little folks' world as best we could, and try to not interfere with your daily lives.
How old are you?
Impossibly old, I suppose, is the only answer I can give.
Normal for giants.
Like over 100?
I am over 100.
That's pretty old.
What beings were you speaking on the other plane that knew of our existence?
I can't say for certain. They did not reveal themselves to me in a form I would be able to recognize and or describe to you and have you understand. They appeared to me and gave me whisperings of the tidings to come.
Do you know from what plane they were?
Actually, I don't. See, the funny thing about contact other plane spell is you never know exactly where you're gonna go. And while that's not always a bad thing, sometimes you come back and you kind of forget where you came from. And he kind of like gets this faraway look in his eyes for a minute, and then comes back and says, "But anyway, we are here now."
So it is fate that has brought us all together.
If one believes in fate, you could say fate has brought us together, yes.
What are you hoping from us?
I am hoping that those who told me your names know of some fate, as you so speak, that you are destined for, in order to level out the playing field that has been broken. I do not know the methods by which you could or will achieve this, if they are to come to pass. I only know that I can assist you in some small manner. And I suppose by taking you to where you need to go in this moment, as well as telling you kind of what's going on as best as I can, that is as much as I can do.
Do you expect anything in return from us?
In return? Not from you directly. Not here, not now. But I expect nothing. I only assume that the other plane would not lead me astray.
Well, may
Yeah.
we come in and rest for the 11-day journey?
Of course, of course.
Does this have a faster speed?
Unfortunately, this is as fast as we can go. This is a very large castle, mind you. It's very heavy.
Speed.
Also, I should give you a brief bit of warning. Should you make it to the second floor, which you should not attempt to do, that's where all of my stuff is, and I would greatly appreciate if you left it alone. And if you were to try and go further, and he points up, and I'm sure, as you have all seen, I have some guests. They are more than welcome to stay there, and I appreciate their company greatly, but they do not necessarily like to be disturbed. I am very fond of you little folk. They are not necessarily fond of any other folk.
How do we get upstairs so we know where not to go?
There is no way for you to get upstairs. There are no stairs. And
Great, good to know. Hypothetically.
I simply float my way up there when I need to.
Fancy.
But for the time being, the downstairs is yours. And if you guys would like, I can take you for a quick trip. So as you walk into the door here, you see a large room. As you can see, it's all flat-sided. There is a large table with a large chair sitting behind it. There's nothing on the table at the moment, and then there's a couple torch lights around the edges and a couple statues and the depiction of creatures you're not really sure you've ever seen before, but you imagine that they are something of a similar form and fashion to a giant of some sort.
Is there beer?
I
Are there windows?
unfortunately do not have any food and or water here. However, we can stop if necessary for you to replenish your packs. I know you little folk are very fond of eating so you don't die, so we'll make sure that you have enough.
Yeah, generally.
You don't eat, so you don't die?
It is not necessary for me.
How tall are you?
Somewhere between 15 and 20 feet. I forget. I got measured once, and it's kind of a thing among giant society that the taller you are, the better you are, but that's only for those who care.
I don't think I belong there.
Swipe left.
You're
You
pretty
are
short.
you are considered among the little folk and would be seen as such, and so no giant's measurements would be held against you.
We'll see, I
How
suppose.
tall is this table?
The table is probably a good 6 or 7 feet tall.
Okay.
Because when he sits in the chair,
trouble.
when he sits at his chair, and he does actually. Whoops! I don't want to move everybody. When he does actually go over and sits in his chair, and he's like, this is odd. I can't really see you now because you're all kind of hidden behind a massive table that's now out in front of him. So, well, he'll walk back around and be like, well, this is better for me at least. And yeah, he's definitely very tall.
Hmm. 11 days in one room, huh?
11 and a half days, I expect.
How many windows?
There are, in fact, no windows. You
11 and a half
can
days in a closed room.
you can go outside onto the cloud if you would like, and get some fresh air. I would strongly suggest staying away from the edge of the cloud, as I'm not entirely sure where the cloud ends.
I'm gonna unroll my bedroll underneath the table. Treat it like a little lean-to or something.
An excellent place to camp. Now, excuse me a moment, if you will. I must go tend to some of my studies. And he's gonna wait with a wave of his hand. He kind of starts floating, and he just floats on up to the second floor. And so you guys are now here to yourselves. If there's anything you'd like to discuss or talk about, or we can move along in the travel days if you would like.
I'm gonna take a running leap on top of the table.
All right.
View's about the same from up here.
So, a little weird that he was just kind of floating around waiting for us.
I would agree. I have my suspicions.
Did we get kidnapped? Did we just walk into a kidnapping?
I mean, you guys did
Like, we
just
didn't
walk
even
up
hesitate.
the tower without asking any questions. So.
He didn't even, like, actually give us any proof. We told him our names, and he was like, oh yeah, you guys, come on in.
I like him.
He seems gentle enough.
We could jump off the cloud, back down,
I
and
don't
walk.
think that would be advisable.
It might be a little late for that.
It's only 11 day and a half day.
Wait, if he doesn't eat, where's the bathroom?
Get as close to the edge of the cloud as you can.
Right where you expect it would be.
I like that idea.
Have like a dowsing stick, if you will. Just walk until the edge stops.
Should I go up there?
Sure.
Sure.
How can you get up?
Like up to the next floor?
Yeah.
Can you fly?
No.
How you
I
Do you
can
have
float.
a hot air balloon?
I can float.
What is the height between the next floor and the floor that we're on?
It's approximately 100 feet. If you guys want, like, obviously, you can move your characters. I don't think there's any walls in this map. You can move your characters back all the way up to the top. Or actually, I think you can just zoom out and look at it. Each of these squares, I think, so in this lower half, each square should be about 5 feet. The smaller squares, sorry, not the bigger ones. And then on the upper map, each square should be about 10 feet. So the scaling's a little weird, but I did the best I could with it.
Let's see, 11 little blocks there from the bottom to the the second floor. So about 55 feet,
It's about 100 feet.
500 feet.
Yeah. Yeah, on the upper half of the map, each square is 10 feet.
Oh, I see what you're saying. All right, I got you.
Yeah, sorry, each of the little squares is 10 feet.
I lied. I cannot float. I can levitate. I cannot float.
So, I
It's
mean,
like
with
a-
levitation, like, you could get up there. That's what he uses to get up and down.
The spell description says up to 20 feet.
Well,
And 100 feet is a little further.
yeah, I suppose so. If you tried it, I would let Owen give you a big push to see if you just kept floating upwards. Just to see if you could get up there, if you wanted, to see what happens.
No. I'm okay on the floor
For now.
for now. How high can you jump, Gilda?
Pretty high, but not 100 feet.
I could cast a spell on you to get you up higher.
And then Owen could throw me. And, we've only been here about 10 minutes. Should we really be trying to get to the second level? The only.
There's no time like the present.
Right.
Probably don't want to
specifically-
make enemies of everyone.
True. We have 11 days, 11 hours, and 30 minutes.
Maybe he
Plenty
is
of
hiding
time
the
to make
beer
enemies.
up there.
Ooh.
I'd almost
No, I don't
rather
think
travel
so.
on foot.
We would at least have beer for the travels.
What if we could steal this entire floating castle?
That's
I don't
That's
think
big
that would end
brain.
well.
We can't steer it. We can't get up there to do whatever he did.
And does anyone know how to make cloud stairs? How would we get down?
Also true.
I think we could workshop this idea, though. Steal the whole thing.
Who doesn't
Who's to
want
say the
float?
giant isn't keeping it afloat, though?
That's a pretty good point.
I don't even understand how something heavy sits on clouds without falling, but yeah, maybe it's best if I don't go up there. I kind of break things.
Well, let's recap the current plan. What are we up to again? We're going to Tribor to talk to some people. Right?
Yes.
I can't remember.
Elystra? Whoever?
That was her name.
Darthag's ex-wife who runs the trading post, I think.
Yep.
To bring tidings of death.
And
Well,
how long did we establish it would take us to get there on foot?
We didn't.
We did not. Okay.
We just took the stairs.
Hopped on the first ride that came along.
Without question. I could have made that a huge trap.
My survival instincts may not be strong.
Can I use my divine sense to detect good and evil?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Oh, you could have done that before.
I could have.
Yeah.
Didn't think of it.
Is that any of us?
Go.
Within 30 feet of you. So, within 30 feet of you is your 5 partners, and
Immediately.
uh,
Maybe don't detect good or evil.
Maybe that won't do any good. You know?
I won't say whether or not your 5 friends are good or evil. That's for you to figure out. However, there are no other aberrations, celestials, elementals, fae, fiend, or undead within 30 feet of you.
Okay.
What are his shiny mean friends? Do we know them?
So the best you could tell, they look like they are statues of a giant. They're not necessarily like in any particular form, or they don't look like they're necessarily some large hero. They just kind of look like a generic statue of a giant.
They're alive.
They are not alive. As best you can tell.
My vote is we rest up and enjoy the ride.
I second that.
Yeah, I have short legs. I don't want to walk.
I don't
Okay.
think I want to piss off a giant.
Well, I'll say,
Do you want to piss on a giant?
probably not.
Time has come.
Very tiny bladder. He may not notice.
If he's not looking, he probably wouldn't notice.
You're coming from what, like Daggerford, that region?
Yes. So if you guys want, I think you all have access to the map called the North.
Mhm.
I know that the map is a little distorted, but that's where you guys are right now. So I need
Hey,
a writing
get the
utensil.
maps on this.
What's that?
Ah,
There it is.
you don't have tokens with sight, or at least I don't.
Oh, well, give me 1 second.
I can still see it though.
Me too.
It might be dark vision.
Oh, well, no, if you guys... So can everybody see the map?
I can see the map now.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I took your guys' tokens off there because
Okay.
that doesn't really matter. If something were to happen that you guys needed your tokens, we would just go to the map where you guys were, and that's where you would move your tokens. So
Is there music playing, by the way?
there is. I don't know if you can hear it.
I can't. Can anyone else?
Yeah.
I can.
Okay.
It's really quiet.
Yeah.
Well, I say that, but my controls down.
I just turned mine all the way up to see.
Sometimes the here, I'll try and put a different song on for you. Sometimes it like doesn't work depending on which song is playing. What about this one? So let me know if you can hear this one play. But
It's not playing.
Oh, just now. I think it's playing.
Still here.
can everybody hear this one?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got
Nope.
it now.
Yes,
Mine,
it
mine
starts
did
out
not
quiet.
start right away.
Yeah, there's probably some lag in there, but all right. Well, so the way I'm gonna do the travel is for each day of travel, somebody roll a d20, and based on your roll, that'll determine what happens. So safe travels. Who wants to go first for this first day of travel? So you guys did leave Nightstone. It was mid-morning, I would say. You saw the tower. It took you a little bit to get over there. Climbed up. I mean, it's 1,000 feet of stairs, so that took quite a while. And then your discussions with Zephyros and kind of getting settled in. The first half a day goes by with no issues. So if you guys want, you can all take I think you should all be well rested now, but you guys can all take a long rest. And we'll go ahead and get started on the rest of the 11 days of travel. So that'll should put you in at about morning on the 11th day. So,
All right.
and
I guess I'll.
for the night, are you
roll.
guys posting any sentries or anything? or do you feel relatively safe up here?
I think I feel relatively safe.
Okay.
But yeah,
And you
should
don't
we
have to
start
like,
rolling?
you don't have to say like who's going to be a sentry, but if you guys say you post a sentry or something, then that's fine, right?
I mean, I can take. I have a magical. What was it?
Trance.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
So I can kind of keep an eye out for the majority.
Okay.
And I'll help because I'm suspicious constantly.
All right. So I guess Owen, you are rolling for the first day.
Your shot.
Okay. 16. All right. So you wake up on the first full morning of you guys being here, and you look out, and looks like blue skies, a couple clouds out there. There's a nice cool breeze, so you guys are kind of above the clouds a little bit, some of them, but overall it looks like good weather, and
I think I see where this is going.
you guys passed the first day uneventful.
How
Who's
do we
next?
roll /20?
D20, yeah. So /roll space D20.
Oh, oops. Slash.
So Gilda's rolling for day 2. 6. Okay. So you wake up on the start of day 2, and it looks like it was a pretty calm evening. It does look like there's some darker clouds on the horizon. They do kind of start to blow in later in the day, but despite the fact that the wind does really pick up, you kind of imagine that this thing moves by magical means, and so there's no real way that the weather can impact its travel. And so you guys are kind of forced to stay inside from the foul weather and wind, so you don't get blown off the edge of the cloud, but you guys do manage to pass day 2 uneventfully.
Who's got day 3?
I can go.
Go for it.
All right, we got Ravo with day 3. $15. Nice. And
Where's the one where the boredom gets to us?
yeah, if at any time during this you guys want to, stop the rolls for a minute and have a conversation during the day, whatever, just let me know, and we'll let you guys do whatever you want. But oops, I forgot to move you for day 2. All right, so day 3, you are here. So again, a really clear day. Zephyros, but throughout the days has kind of been down and talking to you guys, just kind of getting to know you a little bit, get your background. As day 3 kind of comes to an end, he does happen to point out, it's like, oh, and down there is the town of Golden Fields. It's quite a large town. You look down and you can see, and you guys are 1,000 feet up or so, but this town looks like it stretches for miles underneath you. There's not a lot necessarily there. There's a lot of big fields that are golden in color, hence the name. There's kind of roads that stretch all through it, but they're very sparse, and in between there's one section that's got a bigger looking town area, and you imagine there's probably 400 or 500 people total that live in Golden Fields, but it's very nice and pretty looking town. So
Did you ever do anything to give vision of the north, or
what do you mean vision of the north?
that other map, the north? Because I just get you don't have tokens with vision in this scene.
Oh, can you see the map?
I can click to select it, but if I go to it, I just get black. You do not have any token with vision in the scene.
Oh, okay. Give me 1 second. I think what I can do is, what did I call it? Just that one. There. Does that work? That fix it? So you guys are now all observers of the tower.
I do not own any token with vision of the scene.
In the north?
Yep.
What if I just do this? Interesting. Okay, so now I guess I'll have to do... And then, give me 1 second. I don't know why it's doing this, but... 'Cause I thought it worked for everybody last time.
Like I can't even see my own token on the north. I can just see the map. That's
There you
there
go.
we go.
Everybody should be good
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Actually, now that I did that, I think I can just make you all observers again. Yeah, okay. So everybody should be able to see it now?
Yep.
Okay, alright, we fixed it. Alright, so, yeah, so end of day 3, so you got 1, 2, 3 days are done. And, yeah, so you points out golden fields and all that. And, you see, obviously you're going by some forests every now and then. And, right, kind of where you are, off directly to your east and west, there's some large mountains. They look kind of nice, but not all too inviting, if you will. But, so the day is yours. If you guys wish to continue, then you can continue rolling.
Who's up for the
Oh.
next roll?
I'll do it.
Okay. So, give me 1 second now. I gotta redo this. There we go. All right. So on the end of day 4, is anybody hanging around outside? Or are you guys kind of all sitting on the inside?
I'd get some fresh air every now and then. Make sure to open the door.
Okay. Well,
Air out.
go ahead and give me a perception check.
I'd probably also be bouncing outside most of the time.
Okay. So you can also give me a perception check, or one of you can roll with advantage if you like.
I bet you have a better perception check than I do. Would you like to roll with advantage?
Sure.
Okay.
Big money.
So Lowell, I'm gonna go ahead and move you so you're outside. Whoa, whoa. There we go.
Getting jerked off the map.
Getting sucked off. I think it was.
My bad.
You know what? That one works too.
Yeah, yeah.
Tyler's just jerking everybody off.
That's true. All right, so Lowell, you're, every once in a while you go out and you're overlooking the valley that you're flying up. You see the river, kind of in the middle, and occasionally you see like a small settlement here and there, and there's a little bit of smoke rising from some of the buildings. You imagine they have like a fire going, whether it's a little inn or just a little campfire or something. You can occasionally see like a little cart or something down there. But as you look up, there's not a whole lot above you in the sky, so you don't look up all the time. But you do look up one time, and you happen to see just off in the distance, you see a couple figures, real thin, and they start to get a little bit closer. And based on the speed that you see them approaching, you figure you've got about a minute or so before they get there.
It seemed like they're just passing by or specifically heading towards the tower.
They look like they're coming straight for the tower.
I'll pop in and let everyone know. There seems to be something else up in the sky heading towards the tower. Perhaps we should arouse Zephyros.
Finally, some action.
Okay. Do you guys all go outside? I'm assuming.
Yeah. Well, I'll go to the doorway and see if I can see from the doorway without exposing myself.
Sure. I'm just moving everybody up to the upper one, so you can, whoops, choose where you are now. Zephyros would have been upstairs, but you guys did mention you were gonna arouse him, so he just kind of float his way on down. But what seems to be going on?
Some figures out in the distance that seem to be approaching the tower. Is it anyone that you might know? I'll point them out as they're approaching.
He does. He'll take a step outside. I wasn't expecting visitors, but he looks out and it's like, well, let's see what they want. And he kind of waits. And so you guys are looking, and you see 9 thin and lightly armored humans. As they get closer, you can make some stuff out, right? And they happen to be riding giant vultures. They do come to a rest on top of the cloud, and all of these armored guys, they do get off of their vultures. And give me 1 second. So they all, you can see that they're wearing steel helms that cover their eyes, and they're kind of in the shape of a bird head, if you will, a little bit reminiscent of the vultures that they're all riding. There's a couple of them that are dressed slightly different than the rest. They're kind of in the front, if you will, and they approach. Is there anything you guys are doing as they're approaching?
They would have any insignias, banners, or anything that rings a bell that know about her?
Let's say go ahead and give me a history check.
Stinky one.
You don't see anything on them, and if they had something on them, you could not recognize its origin. So the one of the 2 leader-looking fellows approach, and they see all of the group. They can see you. You guys are standing in the doorway, and it's a large doorway, so you're not all that hidden. And Zephyros, he's kind of right there next to you guys, and so they say, "Greetings. We speak on behalf of Yarsi Bin. Now, we would like to speak to Zephyros." And so Zephyros says, "I am he. What can I help you with?" Alright. Let's see. So I just gotta get this here. So the sorry, what was that?
Nothing, never mind.
Oh, okay. So the cultists, they're talking with Zephyros, and they've introduced themselves, Yarsi Bin, and they say, we come on behalf of Yarsi Bin, and we would like you to help return the world to its primordial state, as it was at the dawn of history. Zephyros says, "Well, what does that mean? How does that happen?" And what he asks, the cultists, as you know, they will. Sometimes in typical fashion of a cultist, they're following out orders, but they kind of, well, I guess we're not so sure how that's supposed to happen. But we come on behalf of Yarsi Bin, and he knows that you know how to do that. Zephyros is like, well, I don't believe I do, in fact, know how to do that, because I'm not even sure what that means. So I don't know if anybody is doing anything at this moment.
Can I make a history check?
Go for it, yeah.
I am going to, kind of leaning against the corner with one arm hidden behind the arch of the doorway, cast, or not actually cast something, but summon a small disc on the ground, which will sprout 6 metal legs and a small gun on top of it.
Okay. I will eventually make you a little thing for that. I don't have that at the moment, but
I'm gonna move to the side and I'm gonna prepare a spell.
okay, what spell are you preparing?
Thunder Wave.
Okay. All right. So
I think
are you waiting for somebody to come close before you trigger it, or?
Just
So
seeing how it plays out.
okay, so you're getting ready to cast it, but you're not holding your action.
Right.
Okay. The only reason I mention that is because for spells specifically, if you hold your action to cast the spell, but then you don't end up casting it, you still expend that spell slot. So I just want to make sure. Yeah. So you can step out there and say, you know, I'm getting ready to cast it, but you're not actually holding your action, so you won't actually use a spell slot for it. But.
Can I take a look at the cultists to see what they have as far as weapons or
Sure.
maybe intent from body language?
Yeah. So I guess I'll have you do two rolls for this. Do a perception check and then an insight check.
Okay.
Okay. So the best you can tell when you look at all the cultists and the leaders is obviously you can see they're wearing a little bit of light armor and they have their helmets, and then you can see a sword at their side. But beyond that, you can't really determine if they have a whole lot of other weapons or anything like that. And then for the insight, you rolled an 18. So as this discussion has gone on between the cultists and Zephyros, you've kind of been monitoring, everybody's facial features, that which you can see behind their masks, which isn't a whole lot, but you look at Zephyros as well, and overall you're gleaning that Zephyros is not really sure kind of who they are or what they're looking for, and he doesn't really seem to be willing to help them or do what they ask. And for the cultists, they're not looking for a fight. They're looking to convince Zephyros to help. That is kind of their goal, ultimately. And so, to try and sweeten the deal, the one of the cultists, they step forward and say, Zephyros, we would really like if you could help, and so we have a gift for you. It's a pouch of fairy dust, and we hope you accept this as a gift to come help us in our goal. And Zephyros kind of says, well, give me a moment. And then he kind of turns to all of you guys and says, will you all join me inside for a brief discussion? I have some questions, and I'm hoping you might have some answers. And so he'll go ahead and walk in. Yeah, that's fine. Wherever you guys want to go. I know it's kind of awkward spacing in here, but so he goes in and he kind of closes the doors a little bit. I tell him, "I'll be right back out momentarily," and then kind of closes the door behind him. Comes in to you guys and says, "What do you guys think of all of this? Do any of you know of any of these cultists or this Yarsi Bin fella that they were speaking of?"
Was I able to
Yeah, I see you rolled a 13. So you had
learn anything from that?
You had heard of the name Yarsi Bin, but it's a very not well-known name, and so you don't necessarily remember anything specific about them. You can kind of guess, they're cultists, and they're trying to restore the world to a primordial state. This doesn't necessarily sound good for the general population of the world. So you don't imagine that it's necessarily a benign and good person or deity to follow.
Okay.
I can't say I've heard this Yarsi Bin. But does the primordial world line up with some of the timing of giants and the breaking of the ordering? Could he possibly be connected?
It is possible. The primordial state that I think they are talking about is, from what I understand, is not the most achievable by any form or function. They wish to return the world to a time where there were great, huge beasts. There were many of them and very few small creatures, and there was not room for much life or growth. And so I do not believe this is the way that we would want the world to go. But whatever you all think is best, I think I will follow you. The astral planes that I have spoken to have made me believe that you all are... It is best to follow your lead.
Perhaps we could persuade them to seek answers elsewhere.
I don't even have a clue what they're asking for.
Do you want me to blast him?
I don't think that's the play.
I do not believe blasting them is the correct answer. However, if you all would... I appreciate all of your counsel, and you may talk amongst yourselves. I request you do not take any other action at the moment. I'm going to see if I can glean any advice from the other plane. So, give me a moment, and I should return. And so he's going to retreat upstairs, and then I need to... this one.
It would be nice if we had more information. Whether this CRC bin is connected or if he's just some offshoot cult that's always been around.
Keep in mind, they do have 9 flying mounts.
Do you want
Things,
to ride?
take a turn.
Do you think that we should perhaps try and speak to them some more and get more information?
I think they're like me. I don't think they're too smart.
Unfortunately, they do seem low-level messengers.
Perfect.
I don't know if they know much more than they were told, and they may have already given all that up.
They might know locations.
true.
Of what? Maybe they know the rock throwing giants.
That's a good point. They could be involved in that attack.
Okay. After a few minutes, you guys, I don't know if you've decided that you wanted to do or try anything. Nope. Yeah.
I think we're
Zephyros,
just waiting on our
So
our host.
he succeeded on his saving throw for the contact planes, and he does float on back down and says to you, I have gleaned a lot more information, even though the entities do not necessarily speak a whole lot. This Yarsi Bin is, and he is known as the Prince of Evil Air, and he has a very great fondness for elementals. And so I do believe that is his goal, is he is trying to restore the world back to when elementals ruled and were everywhere, and that is not conducive to, say, your life, you little folk. Elementals are not really thinking creatures, they just kind of act on their own whims. And so, releasing them back upon the world, I do not believe would be the greatest option. So, if you all agree, I'm gonna send them on their way.
What if they respond hostilely? With hostility?
If they did decide to attack, would you stand and fight with me?
Yes. Can I go upstairs for a vantage point?
You still may... If you can get up there on your own without magical means, you can use it as a vantage point. And he kind of smiles wryly, knowing that that's basically an impossible task. Says, well then, I shall send them away. And he goes ahead and walks back outside.
Guess we'll all kind of crowd around to see how it works out.
I kind of imagine you're all like doing a little like, poking around the corner, like heads kind of stacked up. Watching
Yeah, I feel like a
everybody.
little child right now.
Fade behind his leg, peeking out.
It's the little rascals, right? Are they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Daddy,
you've
tell him no.
you got MikWewa near the bottom.
Definitely.
Well,
Just talking shit from behind his legs.
you get him, Dad. Anyway, so he goes back out there and he says, I appreciate your concern, but I think I will not assist you in your goals. And now I must ask you to leave my cloud. And with that, the cultists mutter a whole bunch of unkind things under their breath. A few things you can't pick up. So, you have foolish and short-sighted decision, and things of that sort. But they do turn around and get back on their vultures, and they fly away. And after they leave, Zephyros turns around to you and says, I appreciate your counsel and your straightforwardness, and I'm glad that you are all level-headed and did not rush out to seek a fight or be aggressive in any manner. And so I would like to offer their gift to you guys. And so whoever wants to take it can add... where is it?
Fairy dust.
Yeah.
Do I know what fairy dust does or is?
Yeah, I was gonna ask the same thing.
So I would say you guys can both go ahead and give me an Arcana check.
Oh, this is gonna
Can I get in on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Bravo, that did not go well. For
Ravo, you look at it and it's like,
think it was.
do they bake with this? Is this like a
Do I
flour?
snort this?
Mac, you definitely know that it's not for baking. You're like, I think that's a drug. But
There's
Gilda,
only one way to find out.
Gilda, you do
Ooh.
understand what it is, mostly because of your Fey nature. You know, you've seen this before. I'm trying to see if there's an actual thing for it, so I can give it to you. Give me 1 second.
Ripping lines of fairy dust.
Yeah.
These drugs. Let me get in there. Give it a sniff.
The next 7 days will be a good time.
I guess there's no actual magical item for it, so I have to figure out. I'll have to figure out an item to give you that you have 10 of, so you could have this. But you know that fairy dust, when sprinkled upon a creature, you can have one of several magical effects, and they may include the creature sprinkled with dust may gain a flying speed of 60 feet for 10 minutes, or they must succeed on a Constitution saving throw, or they fall unconscious for 1 minute, and they can be awakened by slapping them in the face, or they will be affected by confusion for a little while, or they'll become invisible. So, a couple various effects. And
So
if you
if
want,
it's sprinkled, we don't know if they'll be confused, if they'll fly, or if they'll just
they'll
go unconscious.
They'll either fly, fall down unconscious, get very confused, or they'll disappear. You're not sure which one.
Bath salts. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So,
I think we should put some on Mac.
I'm game.
okay.
62 feet.
Let's see. If you're taking it, Mac, go ahead and roll me a D100.
Okay. $44.
Okay. So you're standing there, and like nothing feels like it's happened so far. Zephyros is like, that's interesting. Try jumping.
Give it a little jump.
Then you go straight up to the ceiling, and you stay up
God.
there, like, whoa. And after,
100 feet up.
well, you're in the doorway, so you know it's only 20 feet or so, but you you realize, like, oh, you can push off the ceiling, and then you kind of go down, and you're like, and you get the hang of it after a second. You realize that you can fly.
Well, time to go check out that vantage point. I'll be back.
Are you going for it?
I'm gonna start slowly going up.
Well, Zephyros is gonna come in and say, I strongly suggest you don't go up there.
I'll start going back down.
All right. But it, from her understanding of it, she does remind you that, Gilda does remind you that it only lasts 10 minutes. To which Zephyros pipes up, and also you are 1,000 feet above the ground. And,
Yeah, maybe stay inside.
and with that, he'll kind of float his way back up to the second floor. With that grim note.
All right. Well, that shit works.
So now you have 9 fairy dusts left. And if you want to keep track of that, you can just write that in your notebook. I'm assuming you're taking it, Gilda, because you're the one that sprinkled it on him.
Sure.
So. So I don't know if there's anything else you guys want to do today. Watch Mac fly around, make him do some loops or something.
Olympics. Tower Olympics.
Only got 10 minutes.
I'm gonna just go curl up in my shell. I'm a little sad we didn't get to blast.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
We
if
should have argued for their steeds.
Is anyone good at taming animals?
The one skill I keep not choosing.
Yeah.
Can I can I intimidate them?
You can always try.
Nobody ever takes animal handling.
Yeah.
I could serenade them.
You can chat with them.
Well,
It looks like it's, yeah, if we're gonna keep rolling on the days,
okay.
it's either Mac
Two,
or
four.
who hasn't rolled yet.
1, 2, 3. All right. So that was the end of day 4. You guys managed to avoid the battle with 9 giant vultures and their cultists.
Could have taken them.
we could have.
We would have
Especially
tried.
if those 4 eagles had helped out.
Eagles, more like chickens.
They kind of just looked down when all this happened, and they, like, not for us, and they just kind of went back to sleep. They wouldn't have been much use in the fight.
Oh.
All right.
Who's
Make
rolling?
my way up and chat with the eagles.
You're gonna go chat with the eagles.
Maybe next.
How unlord of the rings of them.
What do you mean? They weren't there.
They help in the end and in the Hobbit, right? In
Oh, you have to just give them a chance.
And they're not eagles. Upon closer inspection, you realize that they are, in fact, griffins.
Okay.
So who's rolling? Who's next?
Yes, I'll go.
Okay. All right. So the next day, again, beautiful weather. You guys get some great sights. You do fly over these small towns, and Zephyros is kind of explaining a little bit of the history that he knows. He tells you he's been flying around for a very long time, and he has many notebooks, and he brought one of his notebooks down, and he's like, I have hundreds of these, and he sets this giant book down, and it's like 3 feet tall and weighs like 200 pounds. You guys like flip through the pages. For such a large creature, he has remarkably small writing, so you realize there is a lot of information about this area. And so when he tells you about these towns, barge right in, and was that Wormford, it's actually filled with quite a wealth of knowledge when it comes to those. So that comes to the end of day 5.
Wait.
Unless
Sorry,
somebody's
I'm
doing
trying
something.
to blow my nose.
Oh yeah.
I want to ask him if he can teach me any cool magic.
Well, he thinks about it for a second. I don't know that I'm the greatest teacher, or that I can really teach you a whole lot. But if you're willing to study for the next several days, assuming we don't get interrupted, I think we can work something out.
Yeah, I can. I'm not so good with books, but I
I'll
will
help
try.
you, Wabu.
Thank you. You can read good?
Read real good.
Awesome.
Okay.
Learn to do other things good too.
Thank God. Just waiting.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. So after a couple of days, we'll get to that. So that's the end of day 5. So who's rolling next?
You got the last one left.
Oof.
Blasting time.
Blasting time.
All right, go ahead and roll me a d6.
All of us.
Everybody?
No, just Lowell. Okay.
Ugh.
All right, so who is outside at the moment?
I guess I'm
Screw it, I'll
inside
be outside.
probably. I'm trying to
We've
study.
been inside for 6 days. Oh, no, shit. I'd be helping Wabu. That's right.
Yeah. So you guys
I'll
are
be
studying.
outside.
Okay, so
I'm playing cards in the corner.
gotcha. So Gilda's outside. Anybody else?
I suppose we'll take a walk.
All right.
Leave the door open.
So you guys go ahead and roll
Party
me
outside.
a perception check. Okay. All right. All right, so those of you that are outside, I think, actually, let me double check something. 'Cause sometimes I forget to look at passive perception as well. Where would that be on you guys?
Thought I listed it somewhere.
Yeah, do you guys know where your passive perceptions are listed on your character sheets?
I'm looking.
I know I can find them in
Yeah,
D&D
no.
Beyond. I figured they would be here somewhere, but I guess they're not.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's under the effects. There's passive effects, but I don't think it's.
Yeah, it should
I don't
be
have
there.
anything listed there.
No.
On D&D Beyond, I've got a 10.
Yeah.
It's just I think it's just the in parentheses number, like in your attributes list. Because if you hover over, it says
Mm.
passive.
I think he's
perception.
right.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're right. Good call.
Okay.
And that's
shoot,
why we
big
bring other
brain.
people in. All right, so Owen, nothing. We got okay, Gilda, and then Lowell as well. You guys were outside, and with your positive roll, Lowell, you also did. But Owen, you kind of out there looking around, and like, oh, some pretty trees down there. But Gilda and Lowell, you guys are looking around, and occasionally you look up, and then you both see it kind of at the same time. There's this very large, singular creature that looks like it's heading towards the tower. It is definitely getting closer. And it looks like you have about a minute or so before it gets to you.
But since I didn't see it yet, I guess.
Yep, and they haven't
Gonna
told
get-
you. Yeah,
Yeah. I guess I'm gonna continue to walk towards the edge of the cloud to relieve myself.
okay.
Oh, we got something else incoming.
Hammer time.
Notify
And I'm
outside and inside.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Owen was about to relieve himself, manages to pull it back in real quick. Gets ready.
Go ahead and zip up my chainmail real quick.
All right. So everybody else, you have been alerted as well.
Want to take this outside, or should we go to the top down of the first floor,
Or just hang out on this cloud.
or hang out up here?
So as you guys are preparing, those of you that are outside and looking, you see it is in fact a very large silver dragon that is approaching. And you can see in the clutches of their claws, they have several what look like dwarves in their claws. And they come in and settle down for a landing. The dwarves all pile out of the claws. Dragon
they
doesn't look like
alive?
it. They're all alive. Yep. They all stand up, kind of dust themselves off.
He's very shiny.
Is the dragon like aggressive? Does it appear to be like hurting these dwarves?
Go ahead and make a perception check. Okay. The dragon is definitely not hurting the dwarves. It in fact looks like it is in league with them, and it was delivering the dwarves to the tower. The dragon does not look aggressive. It looks like it set them down and it kind of set back. It is looking at all of you, looking at the dwarves, and kind of just observing the whole situation. The dwarves, on the other hand, do look slightly aggressive, and they are stepping towards you. They haven't said anything yet, but
That's quite a way to make an entrance up here.
and as the dragon kind of settles in, you notice that the 7 griffins up top, they all saw the dragon, and they are all scared enough that they all went whoosh, and you can hear them screech and fly away. And Zephyros, behind you guys, it's like, well, that's something you don't see every day.
Neither's a flying castle. It's been quite the flying trip.
And as these dwarves walk towards you, you take another step, and then you see kind of all of them take a potion out of their pouches, and they all quaff these potions, and they all kind of, let me pull this up here. They all kind of turn a little bit see-through. They're not invisible, but their edges kind of start to lose their focus and blur a little bit. And the best you can tell, they almost look like they became a gas. And they are just gonna step forward. And then the way I'm gonna do this is go ahead, everybody. We're not in battle, but put yourself in combat state at the moment. Because this is kind of, you're all on a timer right now.
Is my rapier buzzing? Like, are we in danger?
Oops, hold
Are we rolling for initiative?
on. Yes, everybody roll for initiative. Like I said, we're not in battle, but we're in a battle scene. Sorry, I need to reduce one thing. That is, okay, that's where it is.
I think Ravo's going first.
Freaking
Yeah.
27.
Alright, 1 second.
Oh, Owens.
Every time, dude.
That's the second battle I've been in, and I've started both.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
What did Owen roll? Oh, yep.
It's pretty unfortunate. All right, so I did that, and now I feel like there was something else I needed to do, but you know what? I don't know. All right, so Ravo, you're up. Remember, you got 6 seconds basically of stuff to do per turn. They haven't seemed aggressive towards you. They just kind of took their potions and they look a little bit like a fart, and now they're coming towards you guys.
Okay. Is my rapier?
Oh, that's what it was. You asked about that. Let me. So that wouldn't necessarily apply in this scenario.
Okay.
Really, so it prevents you from being surprised, which, like, if you don't see an enemy and they come up and attack you, they get a surprise attack on you.
Yep.
So you can't be surprised. That's why you'll all roll initiative at the same time at the beginning of battle. And you do have advantage on initiative rolls. Let me just double check. I think... Well, it doesn't matter if you roll with advantage. So you would be able to roll initiative with advantage. But you rolled a natural 20 anyway, so you can't get higher than that.
Yep.
So.
Okay.
So it's not really doing anything. It alerted you that there was a presence of something there, but you're not in immediate danger. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to begin combat. Just keep in mind, like, we're not officially in combat. This is just for a turn timer. So, Ravo, is there anything you would like to do?
Can I speak to them and ask if, see if I can get any sort of a response as to, like, what state your business?
Yeah. Just, I guess, tell me what you want to say.
State your business. Like, what are you doing here?
You don't really get a response from them. And they just kind of, they look at you and they say, "We're not here for you."
Okay. I would like to put up my shield and kind of ready up for, like, a battle stance.
Okay.
And I think that'll be that.
All right. So Gilda, Mac on deck. Or actually, so sorry, you guys rolled the same initiative. Who has the higher dex?
Mine is 15.
Okay, I think Gilda's got you beat with her dex.
Yeah.
So all right,
Yeah.
so Gilda goes before you.
Is there space to, like, step around them?
Yeah, so, like, this is, it's a pretty wide open courtyard of a cloud, if you will. So, like, they're pretty closely bunched together, obviously. But there's definitely space on the left and right side of them. And the dragon is very large in the back, obviously, and he's standing back there without any issues. So there's plenty of room.
I'm gonna skirt around them. Oh gosh, so sorry, excuse me. I'm gonna come up to the dragon. Just say, "You are a very handsome and shiny dragon."
Okay. Go ahead and give me a persuasion check.
Persuasion.
Okay. The dragon looks down at you and seems rather pleased with your flattery. kind of, you know, that look that a cat gets when you get just the right itch. Like, it kind of gets that look on its face. It doesn't say anything, but seems pleased.
How do you stay so shiny? Do you get buffed?
To which the dragon will respond to you. It says, clouds are made of water. If you fly through a cloud, you get washed. I fly through many clouds.
You're handsome and wise.
Thank you. Again, it just kind of sits back with that pleased look on its face.
Does it appear that I can, like, touch one of the scales?
You can certainly try.
Okay.
So you're just going to reach out and touch it?
May I touch one of these shiny scales?
It kind of
They're
looks at
very
you,
enticing.
thinks for a moment, says, yes, you may.
That's it. I'm gonna end my turn there.
Okay. As you kind of reach out and touch the scale, you feel, obviously, as you would expect, it's a very, very hard surface. You know, you can like push your hands on it. It doesn't like bend or anything. You kind of imagine that it's, likened to an actual metal, if you will. And you've heard stories of people using dragon scales as actual armor, and they've been known to be very effective. But as you kind of like trail your fingers along the scale, you kind of feel this sense of familiarity. Like there's something there that is draconic in nature that is tickling the back of your mind. You're not really sure what it is, but it almost feels like there's a connection there. And that's it. You can go ahead and end your turn. That brings us to Mac with Wabu on deck.
I'm just gonna toss out my turret into the hallway and just say, all right, we're gonna need a little bit more information, gentlemen. And end my turn there.
Okay. They'll hear that and they'll say, we can't take any chances. And that's it. That brings us to Wabu. Lowell on deck.
I'm trying to think. How big is this entryway? Like the doorway?
I would say it's about 20 feet tall, and the doors, each door is probably 5 or so feet. So the total entranceway is about 10 feet wide.
Okay. I guess I'm gonna talk to Zephyros for a second.
Okay, sure.
Do you know these people?
No, I have never seen them before. I know of them. They are shield dwarves. They are typically strong of character and very driven, but I've never seen them take potions like that, and I can't imagine what they're here for.
I don't know what the fuck to do. Won't lie. They don't look very friendly to you, do they?
They do not look aggressive towards us. Well, I should say they don't look aggressive towards you. I imagine if they have come here with ill will, it is because it is my castle. But I can't imagine for what reasons or what purpose. But it doesn't look like they care about you so much.
Okay. Well, in that case, I'm not going to attack, but I guess I'm gonna just end my turn. I
Okay.
don't know what to do.
Yep. So that will bring us to all the shield dwarves. They, again, don't say anything. They just kind of all move forward. I'm going to move them to here. And that will end their turn. So that brings us to Lowell with Owen on deck.
Well, Zephyros is currently hosting us, so if you have some particular business with him, it may affect us. You to clarify why you're here.
We cannot allow cloud giant attacks to continue.
Oh, but he was not connected with the recent one. Like he's helping us resolve some of the issues from that occurred in Nightstone, was it?
Go ahead and roll a persuasion check. Wow. Okay. So this is going to be a 3-check success, basically. And that counts as 2. So while you weren't necessarily the most eloquent, you were very direct, and for some reason they seem to trust you. But they're not stopping yet. They do seem a little more uncertain.
And there may have been cloud giants that had part in it, but going after every single cloud giant you find can only result in more bloodshed. Unless you have some information that we're not aware of.
I'm not going to have you roll again, but after everything that you have said to them this turn, they, like I said, they do seem less certain that they're necessarily on the right path. But unless there's anything else you want to do on your turn.
I'll probably do it.
Okay, so that'll bring us to Owen.
I'm going to take a quick step back. I'm going to address them and say, you there, flatulence dwarves. This giant means you no harm. And if I can, I'll try and make that 3rd persuasion check.
Yeah, go ahead. Give me 1 second.
Sure.
I'm just going to shoot you a quick message because I don't remember. All right. Yep. So you can go ahead and roll that persuasion check.
Not gonna
Okay.
cut it.
That is not gonna cut it at all. In fact, after having heard what you say, you almost like enraged them by the audacity of saying that they don't need to be here. Who are you to tell them what to do?
They didn't like that I called them flatulence dwarves.
They did not appreciate that.
All right. But I guess if that's the case, that'll be my turn.
All right. All right, so that brings us to Ravo.
Oh god. I want to. I guess I will reiterate and say that this giant means them no harm, and they should take their leave.
Okay.
Go with noble doors instead of flatulence doors.
Yeah, are you saying flatulence dwarves again?
No, I'm
Oh.
actually speaking in Dwarvish.
Oh, okay. All right. So go ahead and roll your persuasion.
Can I give him bardic inspiration? Will that help? Or does
I mean, he's already rolled, so
Okay.
not this time, but
Okay.
yes, you can in the future.
Okay.
So that roll, so they definitely look like they're surprised and taken aback by the fact that you can speak Dwarvish to them. And while it seems to not upset them or anger them, it doesn't look like you have convinced them.
In that case, I will use. Let's see.
So just keep in mind, like as your action, if you are having like an intense discourse with somebody, that usually would be considered to take up enough time to be your action.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, I was looking at bonus actions.
Yep. Okay. Cool.
Uh,
You can say shorter things with a bonus action, but longer things tend to take up an action.
Yep. Actually, I think that'll be it. Oh.
Shiny Dragon, what is your name?
It's yeah. So the dragon, still looking pleased, looks down at you and says, "My name is Clarion."
I don't know much about dragons, but that seems to be a very good name for a dragon. I only have this shiny gold mark on my skin. I'm not covered like you.
And as you point to your gold mark, Clarion kind of squints a little bit, becomes a little bit intrigued, and brings its head right down real close to you, and you can definitely smell its breath and feel the heat coming off of it. It doesn't look like it's aggressive, but it does look like it's staring intently at that mark. Kind of has a look of surprise come over as much as a look of surprise can be shown on a dragon's face, it does look moderately surprised. And kind of picks his head back up.
Have you seen a mark like this before? You seem to know something of it.
I have not seen a mark like that before. I just sense something about it. I'm not sure what.
Hmm. Do I know, do I know anything about dragons?
I'd say go ahead and roll a nature check or a history check, your choice.
Be kind to me.
Okay. Unfortunately, your -2 really doesn't help you a whole lot. But with that, I mean, like you do have a pretty good understanding of dragons overall. You know, from where you grew up, there's obviously, you know, one of the things about your culture specifically is you love to tell stories around the campfire and sing songs and stuff. And a lot of them feel like they're kind of, you know, folky and there's not like necessarily a lot to it, but in a lot of those they're all actually based in some truth, and so you have learned a lot of the dragons, and you know that there are dragons of all sizes and colors, and they come from different, you know, planes, and you know, up and down the scale of, you know, from being a mere mortal to being considered a deity. You know that there are dragons of all ranks in that scale. You're not necessarily familiar with like the specifics of any of them, if you will, but you kind of understand that dragon society in its own way is a lot like human society, in that they have, you know, small clusters. Some of them are loners, and they are intelligent creatures. They have their own wills and desires.
Okay. I've never seen a dragon so shiny as you. Is that common? Or are you from a different plane?
I am from here. Many dragons are very shiny. Some dragons are very dirty.
Would you tell me about your friends you brought? They seem fuzzy.
They have a mission, and I have brought them here. And with that, you can't, you know, at this point, your turn would be over based on,
Right.
on how much you have said, so.
Okay.
So, I mean, you can still do a bonus action and or move if you would like, but.
No, I'm good.
Okay, so that'll bring us to Mac with Wabu on deck.
Let's see here. I'm gonna have my turret start skittering out towards the opening of the building so I can get a clean shot on the dwarves if they get violent.
Okay.
It's only got a movement of about 15 feet, so I can't really tell if it can actually get outside yet. But
It wouldn't be able to get fully outside, but it could get 5 feet or so away from the doorway.
okay.
But the doorway's wide enough, and they're kind of like right in front of it, that it would have a pretty clear shot.
Okay. Well, that's good enough for now, and Mac is going to kind of start taking cover further back in the doorway and pull out his crossbow.
Okay. Owen is in your shot path. Keep that in mind.
Great. Exactly what I want.
Line up them cheeks.
Not fun unless there's an element of, risk involved.
Yeah.
This is why I have the turret, so I can shoot enemies and let me focus on shooting Owen.
That's right. Yeah. Perfect. All right. Wabu's up.
Okay. Wabu is tired of being confused. So I am going to cast where is it? Wall of Force. And I'm gonna do it in a manner. Well, let's see. From the sides of each door, out 10 feet across, and block off the 20-foot entrance. So what is that? Says I can do 10 by 10 panels. So it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 panels, and across the top to cover us in.
Okay, so you're basically blocking off the doorway.
Entrance. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I'm trying to include Owen and Lowell within it. So
Gotcha. So it's basically
Sorry,
like
Gil.
the 2x3 grid that is the 4 of you.
yeah, essentially.
Okay.
But
Gotcha.
in 3 dimensions, whichever.
Right. Yeah, and side to side.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Wait, so it's like invisible?
It doesn't say.
Just like
Oh no, it does say it is invisible. It is invisible. I'm gonna say, everybody, hold on. Explain what the hell is going on to the dwarves.
To which the dwarves will respond, we cannot let giants continue to attack.
But he didn't attack anyone. He wasn't even here.
So go ahead and roll a persuasion check.
Yes, Wabu.
They just kind of seem to ignore your comment. Doesn't seem to make them upset or anything. But it does not look like you have deterred them at all.
Okay. Well, I think that probably brings my turn to a close.
All right. Well, that will bring us to all of the shield dwarves. And keep in mind, like, I have them stacked like this, but they are, in fact, side by side. So what they're going to do is they kind of see, like, this shimmer appear in front of all you guys, and they just kind of will float up and over it.
I think you misunderstood when I said I was closing off the entrance.
Okay, what are you trying to do with it?
Come out 10 feet from both sides, across the front, 10 feet, and I need to go up 20. You said the doors
And
are...
like there, or
Hang on.
I don't know if you can see that or not.
Me.
I think this is where I had them start.
No.
Okay, so like that.
Out 10 feet
Yeah.
on both sides. Up above and covering the entrance. The top of the hole that
Okay.
there would be,
Gotcha.
which should be 7 panels of 10 by 10.
And you're going like 10 feet to the left and right of the doors? Or just to the edge of the doors?
I mean, however it blocks off the door.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, well, let me just see. Yeah, this is going to be a little awkward, but so what they're going to do instead is they see the shimmer and they're just going to, these guys are going to slide. Imagine they're going to the right of it. And then these other guys are going to go to the left of it. So they're on either side. And they're like just getting up to the wall. And so you do have the door blocked off. But you can see they're starting to like sneak in between the stones.
Son of a bitch.
That's
And
a very good trick.
again, they do not say anything. So that'll bring us to Lowell with Owen on deck.
Been sidetracked by a crazy dog. Again, I ask that you stop before you do anything rash and increase the divide between the giants and others. For this one has committed no crime.
Okay. Go ahead and give me another persuasion check.
Nothing on persuasion. Wow.
Oh,
They
it was so close.
they seem a little irritated that you keep repeating the same thing over and over, but they do not seem deterred.
Oh, I'm out of ideas.
All right. So at this point, I think somebody's just got to say fuck it. So if as they're misting their way through the walls, it appears that my physical weapons probably won't do much to hurt them. So I think what I'm gonna do is, if it lets me, never mind. Well, all right. We'll try a searing smite.
Okay.
See if fire does the trick on our fart dwarves.
All right.
Gas and fire.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and pop that in the chat there.
We'll so you can pop that in, and then we'll go ahead and take a break, and then we'll deal with the outcome of this in just a moment. So go ahead, everybody. Take a few minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, and we'll come back in a little bit.
Sounds like we're gearing up for war.
Yo, I'm trying to make a
We
shiny
tried.
silver friend.
I'm trying to protect my big buddy. Gonna teach me magic.
So I have it prepared, but it's not letting me do it. First level, 1 minute. Not even letting me put the... Okay, there we go. That was bizarre.
Okay. Yeah, I got it in there.
Do you want me to roll?
No, we'll
Oh,
come back in a few minutes and take care of all that. I'm just getting a couple other things set up.
I think it's time for trivia.
Oh yeah, yeah. Shit, I lost my place. Okay. Yeah. Would you like to hear about... Hold on a second. The ruined kingdoms of the north.
Sounds good.
Yeah, alright. Many folk consider the start of civilization in the north to be marked by the founding of Waterdeep. More learned folk are aware of the deeper history of the region and know of at least some of the kingdoms that have been built by the residents of the north down the centuries. Ruins of these kingdoms are scattered throughout the north, and many present-day cities and towns are built atop their remains, sometimes with their residents ignorant of what lies just beneath their boots. So we have Erlon, the elven kingdom known as Erlon, a survivor of the ancient Crown Wars, stretched from the High Forest to the Delimbir Vale. The Delimbir Vale. Weakened by the retreat of much of its populace to Evermeet and by orc attacks, Erlon finally fell 600 years ago to the demons that burst forth from Askelhorn, once known as Hellgate Keep and now as Hellgate Dell. Illafarn. 10,000 years ago, the capital city of Illafarn occupied the site where Waterdeep stands today. A kingdom of elves that accepted both humans and dwarves in its lands, Illafarn stood intact for 7 millennia. It was eventually fragmented by increasing human settlement of the area, and repeated orc attacks spelled its doom. Athlantar. The short-lived human kingdom of Athlantar lay south of the High Forest in territory claimed by its self-styled Stag King 13 centuries ago. Its rulers were briefly supplanted by mage lords, but then reclaimed the throne only to be wiped out by orcs within a few generations. I'm sensing a common theme with orcs being dicks here.
I do like to kill.
Alright, Phalorm. Dwarf, elf, and human monarchs all shared the rule of Phalorm, also known as the Realm of Three Crowns, which was founded nearly 1,000 years ago in the High Moor. Phalorm lasted barely a century before repeated orc and goblin attacks overcame it. Kingdom of Man. When Phalorm fell, the surviving humans of the kingdom established the Kingdom of Man, formerly known as Delimbiron. which
Oh.
lasted only 2 generations. Its dissolution left behind a number of petty kingdoms that welcomed new human settlers in several locations, leading to the founding of new cities and towns on the Sword Coast and in its environs. And then, of course, there is Netheril, which I've heard a lot of before. For centuries, the legend of Netheril served as a lesson of human hubris and a lure for treasure hunters too prideful to learn from its story. Long before the Dales Compact and the advent of Dale Reckoning, Netheril arose as a human empire founded on the might of magic learned from the Gold Nether Scrolls. Artifacts at least as old as the creator races. Flying Netherese cities drifted through the skies all over the north, but primarily they hung high over a verdant land that is now the desert of Anarok. Then, Karsus, one of the mighty mages of Netheril, dared to believe that he could wrest control of the Weave and become a god himself. He almost succeeded, but in his failure, Karsus killed the goddess of magic, shredded the Weave, and sent the floating enclaves that couldn't flee to other planes crashing to the ground. From the moments after the crash, when the spilt blood was still fresh to present day's moss-covered or dune-buried stones, the ruins of Netheril and its arcane secrets have drawn many to their doom.
There's so much damn lore.
There is. There is, especially around Netheril, that's like there's just a shit ton, like everything intersects with the kingdom of Netheril, it seems. And apparently orcs, you know.
Have you read any of the D&D books?
The
Like the fan fiction?
No.
Man,
I've just been
apparently there's so much of that too.
reading through this Sword Ghost guide, and it's like the Netherese are everywhere, and not just like on the Sword Coast so much. It seems like it's like all the way in.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
Oh. I didn't like that trick you pulled, Tyler.
Which one is that?
Having those shitty dwarves go around and through the wall.
Well, they can do that.
Yeah. Didn't even think about it.
I mean, it was a good attempt. They can just get through that stuff, no issues. What the heck? I just downloaded this, so why can I not find it?
I don't know how to help you there.
Me either. It's fine. I'll figure it out.
What's up?
Oh, I'm just looking for something. I didn't quite get a chance to finish setting everything up, so.
Thanks for the trivia, Camden. I was listening the whole time.
Have you read much of like the Sword Coast guide, Adventurer's Guide?
I mean, I've read a lot, but I feel like even if you've read a lot, you haven't read enough.
Yeah, because it intersects. Like everything kind of crosses over, and
Yeah, like you mentioned a ton of stuff that I'm like, oh yeah, I played with or involved a bunch of that shit in my last campaign. And
yeah.
But like you're also mentioning a bunch of stuff. I'm like, I have
No idea what
damn
that is.
clue what any of that is.
Yeah, like chapter 2 of the Sword Coast Adventures Guide. There's just like a ton of history.
So damn much.
It's like talks about the history of like each little town, pretty much. Region.
All right, let's kill some dwarves.
If we can, dude. I'm worried about their gassiness.
We have everybody back.
Or the dragon just chilling right there.
Yeah.
Gilda's got him covered.
Yeah, I'm having a good time with this dragon. Y'all about to ruin it.
They're friends now.
Yeah.
Maybe you can convince him not to attack.
Just keep distracted with friendly talk.
I'm gonna try.
He's outside the little field that Wabu created too, so.
Which,
I'm
again, I'm sorry about that, but I didn't know what else to do.
It was worth a shot.
Yeah, just Gilda and a silver dragon alone on a cloud.
They should be fine
Perfectly
out there.
fine.
This is fine.
Explosions going on in the background and not care in the world.
They're just having a pleasant conversation.
It's very metal. Like, I'm about it.
Oops, I just rolled, but you can ignore that.
I never ignore a roll from the DM.
Well, you can't read it, so.
Something suspicious.
Okay. All right. So we're back in it. So, all right. I think we got everybody. Oh, I'm having camera issues. Hold on. What's going on?
I'm just
There we
eating some chips, so I'm gonna mute myself.
Yep. Go for it. All right. So, Owen, you are attacking one of them.
Yep. So I'm gonna have to.
I guess quick
roll
question
attack.
about that. Wabu, does your Shield of Force? It's still in effect, right? Can
Yeah.
Can Lowell? Or sorry, can Owen go outside of your wall?
So you were saying they were kind of coming in between the.
So his force field is here, and they are going around the outside. They did not cross through the barrier of his shield. They're going around it.
It is impenetrable. Nothing can cross it.
Kind of like hit them as they're trying to go around it, like into the. Right, they're trying to come into our space, right?
No.
No?
So if this is the doorway, right? The field is going from the sides of each door. They are going on the outsides. They're squeezing through the cracks in the wall outside of the doorway.
So, like what's. Like, is any portion of their mistiness accessible?
No, they did not. They cannot cross that force field that you are in, that
Okay.
Wabu has made.
Well, then I'll just leave Searing Smite on, and I guess that'll be my bonus action.
Okay.
Just for the next swipe.
Okay.
Yeah. All right then. I guess.
Sorry, man.
So, not only
Guess
has
what?
Wabu stopped them from coming in, but not actually stopped them from getting in the castle, he's also trapped you inside.
Guess we'll just end the turn then.
All right. Ravo's up with Gilda on deck.
I am going to use my Blessing the Raven Queen to. How do I put that in the chat?
I think you can just click on it. The standard roll or whatever.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. And I'm gonna go outside the force field.
Okay.
And
I don't
then
think that the field stops that, right, Wabu?
Well, I'm teleporting. I'm
Yeah.
not going through it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't have anything that says that it can't be teleported through.
Okay.
But
Okay, yeah,
Just-
we'll let it happen then. And keep in mind, they're still not aggressive. And because Owen couldn't actually get to them, they still, like, they haven't done anything towards you guys. They're still just trying to float
Yeah.
on inside.
And gonna kind of just chill there. And can I are they like phasing through the walls, or can I like?
They're
look
like
to see what the hell they're?
I mean, so they're a gas, right? Like a gas can't go through rock, but it can go through very tiny cracks. And obviously, this is a stone building, so you got two stones stacked on each other, kind of like trying to squeeze in between the cracks right now, or in between the gaps in the stone. And they are able to do that because they are gas.
Okay. I'm gonna light a torch and see what happens with these gassy boys.
Okay.
And do that. And I guess I will end my turn.
Are you trying to touch him with it?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay,
Yep. I
so-
light it right next to him.
Go ahead and roll an attack.
Where is that again?
It should be. Well, actually, this one is weird because there's not going to be an attack option for the torch. I don't think, right?
I used the torch.
Yeah.
I think you just make a melee attack.
Yeah. Just do an unarmed strike attack.
Okay.
Okay. Now give me 1 second. I do believe that's gonna miss, but I just gotta find them real quick. There they are. Yes, that will miss. So you pull the torch out and try and light it right under them, but they had just slipped past you before you could get to them. So. So that's the end of his turn. So Gilda, you're up with Mac on deck.
Wow, that torch wasn't nearly as hot as your fire, Clarion. What's happening over there? Everyone seemed to be getting along.
The dwarves have a mission. I brought them for their mission.
Right.
They must stop giants attacking.
Give me 1 sec. I'm trying to figure out if I can. Do this.
I remember I did say this was going to be a 3 success check.
Well, Owen had to go and roll a 2. Or
Doesn't mean everybody else can't try.
oh, so what do I have to try?
I mean, depends what you want to do. You've been buttering up this dragon. You haven't asked him to leave.
Okay. I do enjoy your company, but perhaps you're needed elsewhere.
But this giant attacks people.
Can I cast Bardic Inspiration on myself?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay. Do I just do standard roll?
Yeah, you can do standard roll, and that'll put it in the chat. And then I'm actually not sure how that's going to work in this game, but yeah, just go ahead and do that to start with. Alright. And so I'm assuming you're trying to persuade the dragon to leave. So
Yes.
go ahead and roll a persuasion check. And then you can add, and then I think you can click on the damage button on the Bardic Inspiration to add your d6 to it.
Okay, so do that. Do the damage first.
Roll your persuasion check, because you don't have to. Once you roll,
Oh, okay.
Once you roll your,
Is it at normal or at advantage with Bardic Inspiration?
well, Bardic Inspiration doesn't give you advantage, but I will give you advantage because you've been buttering up and flattering Clarion for quite some time now. So go ahead and roll at advantage. And now add your, if you want, you can add your Bardic Inspiration die.
22 seems pretty high.
It is pretty high. Is it enough though?
Let's add it. Is it normal?
It would, the Bardic Inspiration?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know what normal and not normal for that is, but yeah,
It
just
says
roll it.
critical hit and normal, so.
That's because it says it's damage, but it's not. Alright, so your total is 26. So with that, the dragon kind of looks down at you and says, "Perhaps you're right." And then yells quite loud to the point where you have to cover your ears, "Dwarves! This isn't our place!" And all of the dwarves hear this and decide to turn around, and I don't know if they can like end this. I guess not. Alright, well, they understand that it's no longer necessary for them to be here, so they kind of slink off the sides of the cloud castle. But they just kind of float on down towards the ground. And
Bye, Clarion.
goodbye. And they leave.
Bam. I'm shooting the next thing to land on this damn cloud.
I just want to not be confused anymore.
So are we just like stuck outside now with a fucking wall burying us?
For as long as it takes until it disappears. Yep.
Well, can't Wabu? Is it a concentration? Like he has to maintain
Yeah.
the concentration. So if he breaks concentration, you should be able to come on through, right?
Yeah, I think he can end it willingly.
Yeah.
You don't have to, though.
It's permanent. Sorry. No. Yeah, I'm gonna drop concentration on it.
All right.
Yeah, I was going to next turn anyway.
But perhaps Zephyros owes us a few answers about who was throwing rocks.
How about some more fairy dust?
I met a very nice dragon.
Regardless, perhaps we should finish this trek on our own feet to avoid getting roped into more of these matters.
That's a good point.
Yeah, but I want to learn.
Can we can we determine how wow, geez, how long the trek would be if we went on foot?
You. Sorry, give me just 1 second here. So, you're having this discourse with Zephyros and saying that you think it might be best if you continued on foot. So if we look at the north, so that was the end of.
Did we already ask him if he knows about these rock throwing giants?
So there's Zephyros talks about some of the giants, and he has in your travels, and he has mentioned that most cloud giants, like himself, happen to live in a castle in a cloud, and they just kind of drift over the land below. And you remember kind of when you were in Nightstone, some of the guards there, they talked about what had actually attacked, and they said that they saw these giant castles in the sky. And so you imagine that most cloud giants are probably a similar, method of travel as Zephyros, but he he mentions that not all cloud giants are bad. As you can see, he has not been bad to you, at least. And he tells you that he has not dropped any rocks on any civilizations, as he has a particular fondness for the little folk, as he likes to refer to you as.
What you're saying is I don't see any rocks laying around the castle.
There are no large rocks laying around the castle that he could.
No ammo.
throw. No ammo.
Well, at least not on the first floor.
Yeah, you haven't been up top. You don't know what's there.
I got 9 shots of fairy dust.
Can I try to distract Zephyros with an engaging conversation?
To what end?
So that maybe somebody can rip a line of some fairy dust and explore a little bit.
We can try to talk him into playing a game of cards.
Do that.
Okay.
I can sing a tune.
So I'll say those that want to play cards with him. So that Ravo, you go ahead and roll me a persuasion. Owen, you can roll me a persuasion, and Gilda, you can give me a performance check. performance not great. He's like, kind of has a grimace on his face. Like, is this what the little folk like?
I was just warming up.
Ah,
Had to get a feel for the crowd.
of course, yes. Maybe I'll just.
There
I'm
once was a
intrigued by
group
this
of
game
6.
of cards, as you call it. So, I'll have a sit down with them. So he does have a little sit down with Ravo as you explain a game of cards to him.
Mac,
Yes.
the other Mac.
Mac, not Ravo.
You want some fairy dust?
Damn right I do. Why'd you do this? It's gonna like feedback huff it.
Yes.
All right, so you're fairy dusting yourself. Go ahead and roll me a D100.
This is like just drop.
Big money.
And you disappear.
Mac?
Mac disappears.
Damn
Yep.
much.
Wait, can we hear him? We just can't see him, right?
Right.
Wait. I believe I have an idea. And I'm gonna take another hit of fairy dust.
Okay, go ahead and roll a D100.
Oh, hold on.
Extra invisible.
Now we can't hear you either.
Nothing happens, I'll say. That doesn't drop your... You just refreshed your 1 hour of invisibility by, the extra 2 seconds that you were already invisible, so...
I don't know, Gilda. I just keep turning more invisible.
Do you go for a third hit?
I'm just gonna keep huffing fairy dust. Because I don't know what else to do.
I will look over at them from the card game and try to discreetly say something about rope, like rope.
Okay. Mac, you're unconscious. And
Invisible.
those of you standing next to him just kind of hear a little as he hits the ground, but you don't know where he is,
Good
and
stuff.
he's unconscious right now.
I'm gonna take steps, like the sliding kind, to see if I can't figure out
All right.
where.
I'll say you generally knew where he was, so go ahead and give me an investigation check. And if you get
God.
I'll say a 13 or higher, you can find him.
I have negative modifiers.
You did not find him. You, in fact, you weren't paying attention, and you kind of bumped Zephyros. Like, hmm? And he sees you doing a weird shuffle. He's like, oh, must still be warming up.
I'm just gonna abandon him and go sit at the card table.
Okay, all right.
Hey, be careful in that area over there. I think Mac is there somewhere, but I'm not sure where.
So it appears that Mac was kind of behind me when he, rocked the fairy dust.
Yep.
Can I try and discreetly feel around with my foot for him on the floor next to where I'm sitting at the table?
Yeah. So after a minute, Mac, you do come back to consciousness.
Okay.
So if you want to keep looking for him, you can. But Mac is back. And how you
Just
let people know
invisible.
is up to you. Still invisible.
I'm definitely done with the fairy dust.
But yeah, I'm gonna try to discreetly suggest taking two 50-foot lengths of rope. Maybe trying to tie them together, but
All right.
Get it anywhere and climb it.
yeah.
Yeah, you can tie some rope together. I'm not sure how you're going to get it up there, but
Does anybody have a grappling hook?
I mean, keep in mind, Zephyros is sitting right next to you,
That is true.
and it's a wide open room, and he can definitely see directly above him if there were to be a grappling hook on a rope being
Can I
thrown up
cast
there.
sleep?
You want to cast
On
sleep
Daddy's-
on Zephyros?
On Daddy Z.
You can try.
Probably has way too many hit dice.
How many hits of fairy dust have I had?
3?
Four.
4 total.
4 total.
Yep.
Okay.
3 in
Yeah.
the last 30 seconds.
There's
Much
no
does it take
ODing
to
on
OD?
fairy dust, so you'll be fine, but
Is that scientifically tested?
not by me.
We're gonna test it.
I'd say, yeah, at this point, Mac is the leading authority on it.
All right, so what are you doing?
I'm not gonna cast it.
Okay. Mac, you going back for more fairy dust?
I don't see another option, so I'm gonna rub my gums with it a little bit this time.
All
Like
right.
a real crackhead.
Go ahead and roll me a D100.
I want no part of this.
Lowell's just sitting outside.
For the record, yeah,
Playing cards. I don't know what the hell you guys.
I'm reading.
Gilda is in here.
Please be good.
At first, you doesn't seem like anything happens,
I give a little hop.
and up you go.
All right, here we go. I will, still invisible, make my way up to the opening.
All right, so I'm gonna say, because you are invisible, go ahead and roll me a stealth check, and I'll give you advantage on it. And I'm going to counter that with a perception check from Zephyros.
Oh my god.
Yikes.
Killed it.
Cool. He reminds you sternly that you should not be going up to the second floor.
Oh, yeah, I was just
He says-
riding the fairy dust.
Maybe come back and get off your fairy dust.
Shit.
there was he rolled a nat 20,
Fuck.
and he has plus 8 to perception, so he rolled a 28 on you.
Jesus.
I guess I'm just not meant to go upstairs.
I look
Right,
you
well-
upstairs as your white whale.
That and hitting
day.
enemies.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I'm just gonna ride out the fairy dust down on the ground.
You still got some flying and invisible, so you can torment some people if you'd like.
Nah, not this time.
All right. So we'll go ahead and bring this day to a close. You know, Zephyros appreciated you guys dealing with the fart dwarves and getting rid of them. And
I
then
like this name.
fought. And then, you know, he very much enjoyed the game of cards. And you know, he will retire to his chambers for the night. And if there's anything else you guys want to do, you can. Otherwise, we'll, go ahead and move on.
I take credit for a long rest to get that wasted spell slot back.
Yeah, I need to take one too.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys are doing anything, you can do it. Otherwise, we can just end the day here. So.
Yeah.
All right.
How many more days of travel do we have?
So
Too
that was
many.
end of day 6. So you have 5 more days.
So I guess we'll start the roll count over again.
Yep.
Perhaps we can just get off that red larch and continue
God.
Lightfoot.
Fucking damn it.
All right. Go ahead and roll me a d6. Okay. All right. Don't worry about what's happening.
Yeah, I was gonna say it might be easier for us to handle encounters on the top-down view.
Yeah. Sometimes they, like, when they come in, it's easier to deal with them from that one. But did I get everybody? Or did I miss somebody?
Missed.
Oh.
Well, Gilda's halfway.
Yeah, she's stopped for some reason. I'm not sure why. But all right, so so you guys, Zephyros really enjoyed that card game, and you wanted to play some more. So the 6 of you and Zephyros are all kind of gathered around in a nice little circle, playing a game, moving around, whatever. And Max running off to the edge. Come on back. Anyway, so as you guys are playing there, Zephyros feels like he's really getting a hold of this game, and
Duck, duck, goose.
oops. Sorry, hold on one second. And so as you guys are playing, you hand out a couple of cards, and then Zephyros lays down some, and then Ravo lays down some, and then just from beside you, Ravo, you just hear a voice that says, "Oh, well, that was a good play."
Who's there?
And you look over, and there's this wild-looking wizard sitting right next to you. Like, oh, I'm here.
Who are you?
It's a good question. Who are you?
I asked first.
Oh, but I answered first.
I'm Hilda.
Ah, yes. Well, you may call me Fizzban.
With a B? Bizban?
Fizzban.
Oh, Fizzban.
And the Zephyros kind of looks down and says, "What? Who are you?" And Fizzban says, "You're not important." It kind of waves his hand, and Zephyros disappears. That's better. It's a little more quiet for us.
What did you just do?
But he's fine. But now, back to you. Who are you?
My name is Ravo.
Ravo. Yes, I see. And you are Gilda, when he points at you. I know, who are you? And he looks at the rest of you.
Damn surprised right now.
Oh, so am I. You still haven't told me your name.
What are these birds?
So as you look, so he is a wizard. Yeah, you can tell clearly because he's got a wizard hat. I don't have a good picture for him, but so you might notice it looks a little bit like your token on the world map for your tower. Anyway, ignore that. Yeah, so he kind of looks like this eccentric old wizard, and kind of floating around him, occasionally landing on his shoulders, hanging off the hat. The coloring's not right on the map, but you see these 7 golden little birds that are floating around him, floating around.
Well, I'm Macmillian McTavish.
Mac. Very nice to meet you.
Owen's the name.
Owen. That's a good name. Good, strong name.
I am still confused.
Yes.
Me
Been
too.
the
I can
worst
tell.
trip ever.
You and I am quite confused on this one.
Well, I can't help you if I don't know your name.
Can you help me if you do?
I can try.
Well, I'm Wabu, and if you could please help me not be confused.
Wabu. Well, what are you confused about, Wabu?
I don't know what's going on.
Well, we're sitting here introducing ourselves. That's what's going on.
Why are you here? Where did you come from?
Well, I came from there, and now I'm here. And why I'm here? Well, that's because you're here.
You're not helping.
I've been told that a lot.
Do you know why?
I help, in a way.
No, you don't.
I am here to help. You'll have to trust me on that.
Can I persuade him to bring back the our giant friend?
Sure, go ahead and roll a persuasion check.
Hey.
Says, no, we don't need him here right now.
Great. Could you maybe help us get upstairs?
There's nothing upstairs that's necessary for me right now. If you guys can get up there, that's up to you. However, that's not my goal.
What is your goal?
To help you. And all of you. Now, I still haven't learned your name. And he points at you, Lowell. I know you're a druid, but I don't know your name. Or do I?
I am Lowell, and you are certainly the eccentric wizard.
Well, now I do know your name, so I was right. Now, I'm sure you all have many questions.
Is that because I've asked you many questions?
Have you asked me a question?
Several.
Yes, I suppose you have. Well, the best I can answer them is I am here to help you understand why you are here. And, he kind of looks around at you a little bit, says, I think I'll start with you. And he looks at you, Ravo, because you're the closest. Do you mind? And he kind of reaches his hand out towards you a little bit, kind of towards the side of your head. Do you mind?
Yes, very much so. Take a step back.
Okay. Well,
Don't be rude.
I can't help if you won't let me help.
I'm gonna come right up on him, on Fizzbad.
Okay.
Do me.
Okay. And he reaches up towards you and says, I don't have to. I already know. You are here because you were chosen. You are a champion. And he kind of leans over a little bit and looks at the golden mark on the, your arm there. And he kind of holds a hand out to his side, and one of the birds flutters up to the side and says, You've been searching for a bear, have you not?
I have, but not very well, or with much success.
And he says, well, maybe this will help. And the little golden finch that's on his finger kind of flutters down into the middle of your group there, and there's just kind of like this little, and it turns into this large golden bear. This was one of my messengers, and I sent many champions out, and then the rest of the little finches kind of flutter out, and one of them turns into a. I need my other notebook. One of them turns into a wolf. One of them turns into a tiger. One turns into an owl. One turns into an eagle. I had it written down. I lost one of my notebooks, which is unfortunate. I had the rest of them written down. Or actually, hold on. Maybe I have it somewhere else. Sorry, give me one second here.
You're really embracing Fizbin's personality, aren't you?
Trying, yeah.
It's not here, so maybe it's somewhere else.
That's not the one.
So we have golden animal avatars.
Okay, there we go. So there's a bear, a hawk, an owl, an orangutan, a large snake, a tiger, and a wolf. And they're all very golden, and they appear. And so, you know, if his band says, I sent my associates here out to find me a champion, and it seems they have done so. And then he kind of reaches over and lightly touches that golden mark on your arm, and as he does, you kind of have like this weird buzzing sensation kind of flow through it, and that same like familiarity that you had when you were talking to Clarion, and Clarion was looking at the mark and you touched the scale. You kind of get that sensation back a little bit. It's kind of this draconic feeling. You're not really sure what it is, but and then as he touches it, the gold part of it kind of cracks a little bit, and just a little piece of it falls off, but there's a couple cracks in it now, and underneath is this brilliantly colored, you're not sure what color it is. It's almost a silverish, but it's almost iridescent. So there's like a something underneath that gold mark. It says yes. This may happen from time to time, you know, talking about the cracking and the falling off, but in due time, it will be what you want it to be. And then with that, all of the finches kind of turn back into their, or the animals turn back into their bird forms and fly back up on his shoulders and his hat. Who's next?
I'll go. Maybe I won't be confused. Maybe.
Okay. So as you approach him, he takes note of your stature and your demeanor, and he sees that you have the staff. Says, yes. That's it. It's a very good staff. And so he reaches out to you and says, do you mind?
No.
Okay. And he touches the side of your face gently, but as he does, you kind of feel this warming sensation flow through you, and it almost feels as if your consciousness is kind of sinking back into you. You're like receding behind your eyes, and you kind of lose focus of the world around you. It's not an altogether unpleasant sensation. It's unfamiliar to you, but you hear this reassuring voice in your head that just says, "This is all part of the process. This will be over in a moment." And with that, the warm sensation kind of turns a little cooler, and you come back, to your normal self. And he says, "Ah, you were also chosen. Another champion. Yours is darker in origin, but no less important. I cannot say why it was you, or necessarily who it was, but it was for a good reason.
Is that all?
For now.
Gonna dejectedly walk away. Mumbling. Still confused.
I suppose we're not going to get anywhere unless we all do this, so I will step up.
Yeah, you can go anywhere you want. I'm assuming it's hard to get down from the cloud, but if you can manage, you can go. So as you approach, he again says, "Do you mind?"
If you must.
He reaches up next to you, and you kind of feel that same sensation I was describing. You recede back a little bit, but it's warm and I guess a little bit like a mental hug, if you will. And then it pulls back a little bit and says, now that's an interesting case. You, not surprisingly, were also chosen. But you being a champion in that manner, that is... Oh, I think we lost somebody. Oh, he's back. You being chosen in the manner that you were is interesting, because I don't know if they're real. There's been much talk about your championer, if that's a word, but not much solidified about them. However, if you were chosen by them, then that solidifies a little bit for me.
Who are these champions you're speaking of?
Well, you are. Well, you may be a champion. But
Champion of what? For who?
champion of life for yourself or for other people. And is yet to be decided.
Is this all you have for me at the moment?
It is.
Take a step back.
Suppose I'm next.
Owen, yes. Good strong name. May I?
Go right ahead.
Okay. Well, same thing, you feel that sensation. It feels like it takes less than a minute, but you can't be sure because you're not really aware of your surroundings while it's happening. But as you come back, it says, you are not a chosen champion. You have a unique bloodline. And I'm interested to see how it works out for you. However, it'll be interesting, no matter what the outcome is. But I do believe, as I can see inside you, that it was the right choice. You are here, and I don't think it would work without you.
Gonna shake my head a little bit in sort of a lack of understanding and back away.
Not just me.
All right, Mr. Plot Hook Wizard, give me your best shot. Tongue tied there.
Okay. Now you're a little short, so I might have to bend down a little bit for you. And as he approaches you, he puts his hand up and says, "Do you mind?"
Go for it.
Okay. Same thing, You're gone for less than a minute and back, and says, now that's a feeling I haven't felt in quite some time. Again, you are not chosen. You are here because of your lineage. That is a very strong lineage one to be proud of. And I think you'll amount to great things. I think you'll build great things. And I think you are necessary as well.
Such kind words. Thank you.
Of course.
We'll see what comes of this.
Lowell, my druid friend. All right. Are you ready?
Alright.
Again, you feel that same sensation. And as you come back, interesting. Another lineage. Not chosen. Not here by choice. Sent out, but not forgotten. Your bloodline will be different than the rest. But, again, no less important. And with all of you, and he kind of gestures around, as long as you stay the path, I think you'll be okay. Now, what that path entails I can't foresee the future. I can only tell where you are and where you've come from. And where you are is in the giant floating castle. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes, so many.
Ask away, my Wabu friend.
You'll only end up with more questions.
I know. Why did you come here?
Well, let me ask you a question. Why are you here?
I give up.
Oh, you must be here for a reason.
I think Lowell is right.
You're here
Ask
for a
a
reason, are you
question.
not?
Sure.
Are you wandering?
Yeah.
Are you lost?
Sure am. I'm so lost.
Well, being lost mentally is not the same as being lost physically. So which one are you? Lost mentally or lost physically?
I am mentally lost.
Well, I'm sure your giant friend may have some more answers for you. I come on a separate reason. I am not here for the giants. However, I can tell you that there are workings going on. They are unsavory, and the best I can describe them is disruptive of the planes. Now, what you are doing here with the giants is no less important, as that is something that you need to do in order to ensure the stability of your material plane here. But I do think your path will lead you along a place you might not have expected you yourself to be. I can see you, Wabu. You were born of a wandering spirit, and I can imagine that you have seen quite a few things in your travels, but I can assure you that your traveling is not done. Your sights are not finished being seen, and when you get near the end of it all, I think you'll look back and things might make more sense. Isn't that the way of things, is to finish a chapter of your life and be able to look back on the whole part of it and come to some understanding of it?
I don't know.
So while it might not all make sense now, it will all make sense eventually.
Okay. No more questions.
The more questions you ask, the more questions you want to ask. It's an understandable predicament. Would anybody else like to ask questions?
I believe I've had my fill with questions. When questions beget more questions.
Well, there has to be an end to the questions at the end of all of it, right? But I do not blame you if you do not wish to ask more questions, as I myself have questions. I do not know all of the answers. I only know that while we are here searching for our answers to our questions, while we might discover more questions along the way, we'll discover answers to questions we did not yet think of. And to me, that's the best part.
What questions did you come here for?
I'm not sure I came here to ask questions.
No, to answer.
I came here to answer any questions that you had. And of course, I also have to leave here making sure that you have questions of your own. Because without questions, there's nothing to drive you.
I mean,
I have a
what
drive.
question made you come here?
Would it all work out? And I do believe it will. That's not an answer, it's a belief. But it's the best I have.
Am I the only one that gets an animal?
Well, you didn't get an animal. You were chosen by one of my many messengers. That messenger just so happened to be the one that was in the bear form at that time. I won't say that that is their only form, because it's not.
How did
I
you
like
know
a
we
track.
were here? Sorry.
No,
Go ahead.
no,
You
you're
first.
good.
Well, interestingly enough, that mark on "You May Call Me Gilda," and you recall back to a time where you were in the tavern back in Daggerford, and I believe it was you, Lowell. You cast a spell to determine the nature of that mark, and you recall that it was a cast from the spell of divination, or the school of divination. And so Fizbane explains that that mark was placed there by my messenger in order for me to be able to find where the mark was placed. So, in essence, it was you, Gilda. You brought me here. And the rest of you being here as well, happy happenstance, if you will.
You're welcome.
The giant who you just disappeared, is he of good, upstanding moral character?
You can trust Zephyros.
Both you and Zephyroth believe that we are destined to be a part of something, but we've got no idea what we're doing. No direction. Do you have any idea where we should be going?
Well, where are you going now?
Tribor, but for
Well, then that's where you should be going.
Can you make this ship go faster?
You know, I suppose I probably could.
will you?
Now that's a good question. And with that, he disappears and Zephyros reappears.
Not a fan of the Fizzband guy.
Nope.
Uh,
I don't trust him.
And Zephyros comes back and says, "What just happened? I was here, and then I was somewhere else, and now I'm back here."
Don't know what you're talking about.
I also do not have answers. I'm going under the table to think.
Zephyros is a little peeved, but doesn't seem you guys don't seem to be too bothered. Seems maybe you're a little more confused, but not harmed or hurt in any way. So he decides that he's had enough contact with other plane beings to understand when sometimes beings significantly more powerful than him need to interact with the world in such a way. So he decides to not question it further.
I'm definitely not a fan of eccentric wizards.
Yes, they do seem to be odd these days, don't they? And with the disappearance of Fizzban and the reappearance of Zephyros, you kind of feel a little like, A new Zephyros seems a little confused. Goes outside and looks and says, "We're moving faster. What happened?" You know what?
Surprised you actually did it.
You know what?
We got a little help.
I don't need to know. If I was meant to know, I would have been told.
Now that's a driver.
And
My man.
so, with that, we can, if there's anything else you want to talk about, you can. Otherwise, we can go ahead and continue the travels.
That was day 7 of 11 and a half.
I would like to continue.
Who is next up on the list?
I think it might be me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if we're restarting.
Yep.
Like going through the order.
Okay.
Ugh.
Not a great roll, but all that really happens is the weather outside turns really foul, lightning and thunder, and kind of you guys are in a steel box basically, so you're safe from the weather, but it is loud and kind of keeps you up a little bit at night, but overall no harm. So you managed to finish the 8th day with no issues, and Wabu, you've still been maintaining your studies with Zephyros, so
Yep.
At the I'll come up with what you have learned before the beginning of our next session. But
Cool.
he does impart some knowledge to you. So you got another day of travel. Who's rolling? Okay. Well, it's a nice clear day. No issues. We have a couple clouds. You see some birds flying around. None are coming towards the tower. And that will go ahead and close out the end of day 9. And then as you go to sleep on the end of day 9, Zephyros, looking outside, muttering to himself under his breath, and says, that was highly unexpected. When he comes back in and says, "Well, whatever happened must have doubled our speed. We had 4 days of travel left, but we will be there in the morning. So sleep well, and I will drop you off first thing in the morning, and I will see you then." So you guys go to sleep for the end of day 9, and then as you wake up in the morning, it's a nice clear morning, no weather issues or anything, and you see your on the map of the north here, you are just coming into the last valley. You got some mountains off to your southwest there, and a lot of kind of plains and or rocky terrain off to your east. North and south, you can see the main traveled road there, the long road, traveling straight up through the valley, and off in the distance you can kind of see Tribor is approaching, and you do notice it's approaching faster than you remembered moving. So Fizzban definitely did give you guys a bump up in speed there. And as you approach it, one second, let me get here. you guys can't see just yet. 1 second. And I need... There. Can y'all see now?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
There was some funky lighting there. For a
Yeah.
while.
Yep. Yeah, I was like, I put you guys on, and oh wow, there's a weird like half moon shape there. I'm not sure what that's all about, but wonder does that move if you guys whoops. Alright, somebody's got some weird lighting going on. I don't know who it is, but
I can see everything, so.
yeah, there's like a who has like a blue crescent moon on their map. Does anybody?
Nope.
But I see.
Interesting. All right. Well, I won't worry about it then. I guess it's just on mine. But anyway, so on the 11th day, you know, he drops you off. You can see Tribor doesn't really look like a very big town. Looks small, relative in scale to some of the other ones you've flown over, but it does look like there'd be maybe 100 people or so at most that live here. So he gets close, and you know, again, that 1,000-foot cloud staircase drops down, and he comes out and says, you know, well, I'm glad you were able to travel safely, and I appreciate all the work you've been doing and for keeping my castle safe in your travels, and I wish you the best of luck.
Stay safe, old man.
Will we ever see you again?
It's hard to say. The future is mysterious. I float around many places. Sometimes my travels take me to places I don't expect. Like when I first met you, I didn't expect to be there. But there I was. So, we shall meet again, perhaps.
Well, thank you for the travel.
You're very welcome. And with that, as you guys start to descend the staircase, mind you, there is no handrail, so be cautious going down. It was not... The steps are your size. They were made for the small folk, but he can levitate, so he didn't really think to put a guardrail on there, or a handrail. Oh, so as you guys are walking down, is there anything you'd like to do, or...
Maybe can we do a quick perception check of the town to see if there's anything amiss?
Sure,
Just
yeah.
while we got the
Yep.
elevation.
Yep, so you got a great view.
Damn it.
From what you can tell, it just looks like a regular town. You don't see any like crazy fires or anything being destroyed.
Yeah.
Even with your 21, Lowell, it looks like the town is intact. It doesn't look like it's been bombarded by any cloud giants or anything like that. So, looks like
No,
a regular town.
Orcs lurking about or anything like that?
Best you can tell, the woods look like normal woods, and the fields look like tilled fields. And that's about it. So,
Well, down we go.
all right. I think with that, we can go ahead and end it here for the night. It's a good place to stop, I think.
Yeah.
So,
We didn't even get Ed battle this time.
you almost
Became-
did. Almost did.
We came close.
All right.
Just got confused.